For most animals, exhaustion is just a signal. A brief pause. Then movement begins again. But in humans, rest became something deeper. Something we have to return to again and again. Almost as if our survival quietly depends on stopping. Why is that? Why does the most capable animal on Earth also seem to need more recovery than almost any other? Think about it. A lion sleeps 18 hours after a 20-minute hunt. No guilt. No anxiety. No middle of the night worry about tomorrow. But you can work for 8 hours, sleep for 8 hours, and still wake up tired. So here is the question this video will answer. What makes human rest so different? And why has history quietly shaped us to need more of it than any other creature? If you have ever felt guilty for taking a nap, or wondered why you are exhausted even when you did not run a marathon, then stay with me. Brief pause. Before we begin, if you want to understand your own body's ancient need for rest, without the guilt, then subscribe and like this video. Because what I am about to share comes not from a lab, but from 100,000 years of human history. Let us begin. You have felt it, haven't you? That strange weight behind your eyes when nothing has tired your body. No long walk. No heavy lift. Just the slow accumulation of a day spent watching, listening, deciding, remembering. A lion does not know this feeling. When a lion rests, its mind goes where its body goes, into stillness, into silence, into the warm blankness of the present moment. But your mind stays restless even when your limbs are still. It replays conversations from 3 years ago. It imagines what might go wrong tomorrow morning. It carries the ghost of every small mistake and every quiet hope, all at once, without asking permission. That is the first and deepest reason humans need more rest than other animals. Not because we are weaker, but because we are the only creature that lives in 3 times at the same time. The past that will not let go, the present that slips through our fingers, and the future that has not yet arrived but already asks for our attention. And that constant time travel costs something. It costs energy, yes, but more than that. It costs a kind of internal silence that other animals never have to purchase. A horse does not lie awake wondering if it spoke too harshly to another horse. A wolf does not dream of the deer it failed to catch last season and feel shame. But you do. And that private, unspoken burden, the one you carry without ever naming it, is what makes human rest so different. When you finally close your eyes, you are not just repairing muscle tissue or balancing heat. You are also trying to forgive yourself for yesterday. You are trying to quiet the voice that asks, am I enough? That is the hidden work of rest in our species. And it is exhausting work. More exhausting than any hunt. Which is why, after millions of years of evolution, the human animal still wakes up tired. Not because we are broken, but because we are the only animal that has to rest from being human. And that quiet struggle is only the first layer. Beneath it lies an older rhythm, one that our ancestors knew but modern life has nearly erased. That older rhythm waited for you in the dark, long before alarm clocks and electric light. Imagine this. You are lying in a bed hundreds of years ago. Not because you chose to sleep, but because the sun has vanished and the world has turned cold. You drift into what our ancestors called first sleep. Deep. Unbroken. The kind of sleep that animals still know. But then, something strange happens. In the middle of the night, without any sound to wake you, your eyes open. Not with panic. Not with thirst. Just open. And you are not tired. This is the hour that history almost lost. Between midnight and 2 in the morning, your ancestors rose. They did not check a screen. They did not worry about work. They lay still, or lit a small candle, and simply existed. Some prayed. Some made love. Some sat by the embers and thought about nothing at all. And then, after an hour or 2 of this quiet wakefulness, they returned to second sleep. That pattern, first sleep, a waking pause, second sleep, was not strange to them. It was as natural as breathing. So why did it disappear? Not because your body changed. Your body still knows that rhythm. You can feel it on nights when you wake at 3 in the morning and cannot fall back asleep. That is not insomnia. That is your ancient blood calling for the lost hour. But modern life told you that waking in the dark is a disorder, a failure. So you lie there, heart beating a little faster, mind racing with shame. What the competitor's video will not tell you is this: that middle wakefulness was never a mistake. It was rest within rest. A soft corridor between two sleeps where the human animal simply paused, without purpose, without guilt. And when industry killed that corridor, when factories demanded 14 straight hours and coffee replaced candlelight, something quiet broke inside us. We did not just lose an hour. We lost permission to be awake without being productive. That loss still aches in your chest on every sleepless night. But beneath that ache, there is another truth waiting. Because the two sleeps were never just about sleep. They were about who rested next to you. And that leads us to the strangest reason humans need rest more than any other animal. That strangest reason does not begin with the young or the strong. It begins with the old. Picture a campfire 40,000 years ago. The hunters have returned. The children are fed. And now, as the fire settles into embers, something remarkable happens. The grandmothers rest first. Not because they are weak. Because the group has decided, without words, that their rest is more important than anyone else's. You see, other animals do not keep their elderly for long. A wolf pack leaves the old behind when they slow. A herd of deer moves on. But humans carry their grandmothers. We share food with them. We slow our pace for them. And in return, they give us something no other species can give. Memory. A grandmother has seen drought. She knows which routes are safe when the river runs dry. She remembers the trail that leads to water when the sky forgets to rain. That knowledge kept your ancestors alive. And to keep her alive, they let her rest while others worked. That is the secret that the competitor's biology will never find under a microscope. Human rest is not only about your body. It is about the body beside you. The older one. The slower one. The one that has already given its best years and now asks only for a place to sit while the next generation runs. And here is the mature, quiet tension that history whispers. You have felt it yourself. That moment when you are exhausted but someone older needs your help. Or worse, when you are the older one, too proud to ask for rest, and you watch the young ones wait for you anyway. That unspoken exchange, I will rest now so you can remember later. I will carry you now so you will carry me when I forget. That is the deepest current of human rest. Other animals do not have this. A lioness does not dream of her mother's voice. But you do. And that dreaming, that remembering, that quiet debt between generations, it tires you in a way no muscle ever could. Because rest, for humans, is never just yours. It is borrowed. It is given. It is the soft agreement that we will stop together so none of us has to stop forever. And from that agreement, another layer rises. Because when rest became social, it also became trapped. And that trap has a name. Agriculture. That trap has a name. Agriculture. 10,000 years ago, humans did something no other animal has ever done. We stopped moving. We planted seeds in one place and waited for them to grow. That decision fed more people than hunting ever could. But it also began a quiet war between our ancient bodies and our new lives. Before farming, your ancestors moved through changing ground. Different slopes, different paces, different muscles used at different times. That variation was invisible rest. No single part of the body ever worked too long because the landscape itself forced you to shift. But in the first fields, something changed. You bent over the same soil for hours. You swung the same tool with the same arm. You carried water along the same path until your joints ached not from intensity, but from repetition. The competitor's video will tell you about muscle fibers and tissue repair. All true. But here is what the competitor will not say. Repetition is a liar. It tells your body that you are not working hard because you are not sprinting or climbing. But repetition kills softly. It settles into your lower back, your right shoulder, your knees. And it does not scream. It whispers. A little stiffness here. A little heaviness there. Nothing you cannot ignore. Until one morning, you wake up and your body does not feel like yours anymore. That is the agricultural trap. Not starvation. Not war. Just the slow accumulation of the same small movement, day after day, season after season. And here is the mature, painful irony. Other animals do not fall into this trap because other animals do not stay in one field. A herd moves on. A bird does not plant the same tree. But humans? We built villages, then towns, then cities. And every wall we built, every road we paved, every season of wheat we planted, made repetition more efficient and rest more rare. Your ancient body still expects variation. It still waits for the terrain to change. But the terrain does not change anymore. So you sit at a desk, or stand at a counter, or drive the same route, and you wonder why you are so tired. Not exhausted, just worn. That is the fourth reason humans need more rest than any other animal. We invented a world that forgets to vary itself, and now our bodies are trying to remember a rhythm that history erased. But even that memory, buried deep in your bones, still whispers. And what it whispers leads to one final truth about rest.